All right. In the back half of chapter three, well, actually, all of this chapter three, because I didn't comment on the last bit because it was quite the long one. Uh, um, so we're getting very much Lily Bart thinking back to her origins, which seems to be her mother married Mr. Bart, who was kind of a tired man who got more and more tired and was basically set to work. Basically, you're there to work and get us money and work and work and work until he's ruined. He just comes home one day and we're ruined. He dies pretty shortly after that. Mother's basically like, yeah, you failed in your purpose. I don't really care about you anymore. I'm just waiting for the next bus to come along. Is how she kind of sat beside him as he died. Um, and then her mother dies basically of dinginess. It's like she's not happy being poor. All her managing skills go away. They live with relatives who she sneeringly says live like pigs, which probably means they live within their means. And she dies and says like and she's her last thing to Lily is you have to claw your way out of this. And Lily, you know, doesn't have her mother's maybe crude sense of of hunger for money, for possessions, but it's sort of just an overlay of kind of like sentimental novels and kind of liking poetry, and she thinks that makes her better, which it doesn't. It doesn't really, and that has indeed faded away. Um, she gets lucky that and her father's sister, Miss Penson, Mrs. Penson finally says like, well, I'll take her because nobody particularly wants to take her. And you know, she's a canny old woman. She's old New York money. Maybe she lives like pigs, but actually of them, she keeps a very neat place and has a taste in fine cuisine, but she doesn't particularly want to be in the center of things and lives a fairly passive life. There's a whole thing of Dutch ancestors who set up little mirrors so that they could see the outside world passing by, but we're just observing it, which is like a little striking image. Um, and yeah, so Lily's like at the beginning, it's got these visions of like, oh, I'm gonna go with like British aristocracy or an Italian prince or something, and now it's she's nine and 20, and plainer and poorer girls than her have all gotten married, and she still hasn't bagged anyone, and is it because of that kind of inflated sense of worth that came from her mother at the beginning? Um, you know, what's uh, what does she say? Uh, yeah, it's like uh, her, taking the field. Lily had taken it, at first with the confidence of assured possessorship, then with gradually narrowing demands, till now she found herself actually struggling for a foothold on the broad space which had once seemed her own for the asking. How it had happened? How it had happened she did not yet know. Sometimes she thought it was because Miss Penson had been too passive, and again she feared it was because she herself had not been passive enough. Had she shown an undue eagerness for victory? Had she lacked patience, pliancy, and dissimilitude? Whether she charged herself with these faults or absolved herself from them made no difference in the sum total of her failure. Younger and plainer girls had been married off by the dozens, and she was 9 and 20, and still Miss Bart. So, yeah, it's like, was she not passive enough? Was she not able to kind of fake being passive enough? Had she lacked patience, pliancy, and dissimilitude? It's like, it's interesting that this is all, it has to be, I'm going to have to con somebody in to marrying me. There's no question here of, I just find somebody that I actually am suited to. Um, and it's interesting, she was beginning to have fits of angry rebellion against fate when she longed to drop out of the race and make an independent life for herself. So it's like this whole thing of she hears about this other woman who's like, yes, she lives very humble, probably dingy life in what she considers, but she is free. And I think there seems to be this definite part of Lily Bart that just longs to be free. The problem is, she longs to be free with a ton of money, and that is not going to happen. Ton of possessions, ton of money, ton of that kind of power in life. She's not going to get that. You can have one or the other. Uh, if she, for the life kind of life she desires for herself, she has to fake being a submissive, passive little wifey, and she just can't do that. She's not a good enough actress, or she hasn't found a stupid enough mark yet. People sense that she's probably too get the sense she's maybe too powerful of a personality. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.